What's up, everybody? Welcome to Human Innovation Tarot. My name is Eddie with Imagine Life Development Center. And today, I'm going to be taking a look at the energy of August. So this is kind of what's coming up in August. This is an all signs reading, so it doesn't matter what your zodiac sign is. Now, normally I would go through and do one video that goes through all 12 zodiac signs, but I felt led by the divine to do something different for August. So we're going to do something different for August. I'm going to take a look at kind of everything. And so take what resonates for you guys. Not everything is going to resonate for everyone, but I'll pull a few cards on things in regards to relationships, pull a few cards on career, finance, that kind of stuff. But the first thing I'm going to look at is just kind of the collective energy. Like, what is the major theme coming up in August? Two things that need to be mentioned is Mercury retrograde will be ending August 10th. So we've got about 11 more days, so about 2 weeks before that's over. And just before Mercury retrograde ends, we have the Lionsgate portal that happens every year, the 8/8 portal. I want to talk about that really quick because there's a lot of, I think these things can be kind of confusing. Like, what is a Lionsgate portal? What is, what is that? What does it mean? Why should we care? Is it just a woo-woo catch thing? Like, what is this? So I'm going to give you guys my perception, my take on it. And again, this is just my perception. I consider myself a practical spiritualist, which basically just means that, I acknowledge the supernatural. I acknowledge energy. I acknowledge the unseen realms. I acknowledge those things, but I also acknowledge science, practicality. I acknowledge the tangible world and realm that we live in. I acknowledge quantum science. And so I think it's healthy for us to be grounded and practical, because we do exist, at least while we're in these bodies, we exist in this in this dimension we get with our five senses, but we also are connected to the unseen, the energetic / spiritual realm, right? So, I think it's important for us to stay balanced between both of those. Like, a lot of people in spirituality, they want to leave. They want to leave their bodies. They want to leave reality. They want to spend all their time trying to be in the spiritual realm, which is called spiritual scapegoating, or spiritual bypassing. Everything is woo-woo and spiritual this and spiritual that. And, and that's unfortunately not going to benefit them, because, again, they're here in this body. And you came here, we incarnated here to be in this realm, to have the human experience, to have these tangible experiences. And then on the other side of things, for those who completely deny all spiritual things, and they're just obsessed and consumed with materialism, superficiality, the 5D, money, relationships, the physical world, that's also an imbalance. So what is a portal? Okay, let's just start there. A portal is just an energetic opportunity, like an environment of energy. Almost like you could say how the moon affects the tides, right? The tides, we have high tide and we have low tide, and the tide is affected by the moon. Well, a portal is just an energetic opportunity that influences and amplifies our vibrational frequencies, whether we're aware of it or not. just like how the moon is influencing the energy and the gravitational pull and all the different things that makes the water, the tides, right? That affects the tides. Now, what we need to understand about that is there is what's known as exoteric knowledge and esoteric knowledge. Exoteric means outer. It's the outer world, the things outside of us. Esoteric is the inner world, the things that are going on inside of us. Now, both realms, the exoteric, the outer world, the outer realm, the universe, the tangible world and the universe, and and when I say universe, I don't mean spiritually. I mean the physical universe. Like if you fly out into space, all of this stuff that has to do with the tangible reality of this realm, that's the exoteric world. And then our inner world is the spiritual world. And so all of those things are energy. Our inner world is energy. The outer world is energy. Everything is energy. Everything. Your thoughts are energy. Your imagination is energy. Everything is energy. There's nothing that exists that isn't energy. This spiritual realm is energy. Everything. So these portals create. It's almost like a bubble, if you will. It's a moment where it's like we're passing through, like if you go to the airport and you walk through a metal detector, right? It's like it's a brief thing that you go through. So you're going through life, but then you have to step through this metal detector at the airport. It's security checkpoints, right? And so two things happen. The first thing that happens during this portal type of energy, and again, it's amplified. So that energy just amplifies things that are already occurring in our life. So it just makes it bigger. It makes it louder. It makes it stronger. It makes it more intense. And based on where we are in our spiritual walk, our spiritual development, energetically speaking, then it's just going to amplify what's already going on inside of us, and it's going to amplify things that are going on outside of us. So going back to my analogy, as we walk through this metal detector, this portal energy, on one hand, it's going to reveal things just like a metal detector. If you have metal on your body, the detector is going to go off. It's going to bring things to light. It's going to identify things within us that are no longer serving us. It's going to reveal things for us to address, for us to assess, for us to look at and go, hey, what's not serving me anymore? What have I outgrown? What do I need to release? What do I need to let go? What do I need to change? What do I need to become? All those types of things. But it also gives us it also gives us amplified energy to play with, to create with. So if you're intentionally trying to create, if you're intentionally trying to manifest, if you're intentionally trying to change something within you, your personal development, your personal growth, then you get like an infusion, you get this boost, right? You get this extra push, like, this just like an extra boost. It makes me think about the movie Fast and Furious. They have the cars, and then the cars, they have nitrous, and that's when they can press the button and then it activates the nitrous, and the car gets this temporary explosive boost of speed. That's kind of what this energy is. We get this infusion of power that ignites whatever it is that we're doing. Now, a lot of people, we go through these portals, and a lot of people don't really experience much of anything because they're not aware that they can utilize that energy for their own good. But it's a brief window. So that's what these portals are. And And it's based on 8 energy in numerology. And 8 is all about manifestation. It's all about abundance. It's all about hard work paying off, but it's also about maximum effort, right? So in other words, as long as you're willing to put the work in, as long as you're willing to maximize your effort as you go through this energy, then you're going to get a bonus. You're going to get like a 10x return on your output, a 10x return on your manifestations, a 10x return on whatever it is that you choose, however you choose to use this energy. Now, because we live in a dualistic reality rather, this applies to negative things. So you have to be careful. If you're doing things, that would be harmful to yourself or others, then it's gonna bring a boost of that energy in a negative sense. Because we, as the magicians of our life, the ones who hold all the power, the creators, we're the ones who determine how energy functions. Energy in and of itself is neutral. It's neither good nor bad. Energy becomes activated based on our intention. So if you intend your positive intention, you're doing something out of love, out of harmony, out of divinity, doing things connected to the divine that are in your highest good and the highest good of others, then you're activating energy in a positive. But if you're disconnected and you're doing things out of negativity, you're doing things out of fear, self-preservation, control, all that kind of stuff, then you're activating energy in the negative sense. So energy is neither positive nor negative. We are the ones who determine what it becomes. It's just Play-Doh, right? That's all it is. It's just Play-Doh, but in a sense, right? So we can create something powerful and positive, or we can create something negative and destructive. So just keep that in mind. That's what all this portal stuff is. Okay. So again, it's just an energetic opportunity that we go through to change our vibrational frequency. It amplifies our vibrational frequency. And if our vibrational frequency is positive, it's going to amplify that positive energy. If our vibrational frequency is negative, it's going to amplify it in a negative sense. Okay. So I just wanted to explain that because there's so much, generic spiritual terms that are floating around. It's a 8-8 portal coming out, blah, 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 blah. But how many people really know what the hell that is? Because most people, they hear it, they hear what other people say, and then they just regurgitate it and they just parrot it. Basically, they're just copying what they heard somebody else say. One reader and one spiritualist just heard what somebody else said, and so they're just regurgitating it and saying the same thing. But most of these people haven't done any research. Most of these people haven't actually looked at the full picture, again, from both sides of the coin, from the quantum science, the spiritual realm, but then the physical realm, understanding energy, understanding all of this, right? So, and that's not me trying to sound ugly or be judgmental or bash other people's channels or other people's opinions. That's just my personal take based on research, actually looking into it myself, actually forming my own opinion, my own idea about something based on a lot of research and understanding how energy actually works, right? So so just keep that in mind as I get into the reading here. So the first thing that I'm going to look at is I'm just going to look at kind of like the theme of the energy. So I'm just going to look at, okay, this is what we need to know. This is kind of like the theme, what to expect. But then I'm going to look at what we need to do or not do to be able to access this energy in a positive and empowering way. Because I can sit here and pull cards all day long and tell you, oh, the 8-8 portal, this is what's coming your way, and this is what's going to happen, like all the typical stuff that tarot readers do, predicting, and this is what's going to happen. And it's like, but a lot of times none of that stuff happens because we're not we are not doing our part to activate that energy. And that's very important. Unless we participate in the activation, unless we participate in the creation of the things that we desire, we're never going to see those things come to pass. We're never going to see those things manifest. So we're going to look at the themes first, and then I'm going to look at, okay, what do we need to do to participate and activate this energy so that we can get what we want? And then I'll pull a few cards to see what we can expect in regards to love and what we can expect in regards to business and finance. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of take a couple little snapshots of like everything. All right, so let's start by looking at the theme energy. What is the theme of August and Lionsgate? So it's really kind of like two readings in one. We're looking at the entire month of August, Leo season. So happy birthday to all you Leos. But we're also looking at the 8-8 portal. So, one reading that's going to kind of cover both bases. All right, so give me the major theme energy, please, for August and the 8-8 portal. Give me 3 cards, please. And I apologize if you guys hear a lot of noise. The person living above me it sounds like they're moving furniture or something. So I don't know. And it always happens like this. I'm like, oh, you know what? The one day I decide to get on and do some recording, it's like they're gonna be loud. But hey, it is what it is. Okay. So the first thing we have is children. The second energy we have is not now. And the third energy, the third theme is paradigms. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the divine feminine. And then underneath that, we have illusions. I'm just going to take one more. And then we have ascension. So I'm going to do this. I said 3, but I'm going to put these down because these are like the sub theme. So let's just go through this really quick. And then I'll pull to see what we need to do. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that right now. So that way I can just read it all together and it'll make more sense that way. So let me go ahead and pull 3 cards on what we need to do to activate this energy to get the most out of it, what we can expect in that regard, or what we need to do rather. So give me 3 cards. What do we need to do to participate and activate the Lionsgate portal energy for our highest good, please? What do we need to do? All right. We have karma, which is essentially the same thing as justice. We have secrets. And look, this is wild. We have the divine feminine upright. And then it came out in reverse here. So here's the divine feminine card in this deck. And these 2 decks, for those of you who are new to the channel, those of you that aren't new, you've seen me use these cards before because I use them all the time. These 2 decks that I have on the table are decks that I created for myself. You can see it's got my little logo there. This is kind of the 1.0 version, the first deck, the first iteration. It has 81 cards or something in it. And then this past year, I created this deck here, which is the 2.0 deck. And this deck has 90 cards. So I added about 9 more cards to this one. And this is original artwork, whereas this, I got these images from the internet. So these cards are not my artwork, but these cards are my artwork. So this is kind of like an original. But anyways, I'm just saying that they're exactly the same deck with exactly the same cards. This one just has more cards than this one. All right. That's the point that I was trying to make. So we had the divine feminine from this deck came out in reverse. And up here, it's upright. And I'm going to put these, I'm going to put this one up here next to that. So that's the bottom of the deck there. And this is actually the bottom. This is like where the deck splits. So I'm going to honor that. So these two are the bottom cards. Okay. So let's start up here. And remember, the bottom are the sub-themes. These are the major themes. These are the sub-themes. This is the major theme of August in Lionsgate Portal. This is what we need to do to activate the energy for our highest good in a positive way. Okay, just so we're all clear on what rows mean what. So, theme, children. There's two energies attached to the children energy. This could be literal children. So many of you out there, I know probably school is starting. If you're a parent, you have children. It's just basically saying, that a major theme of this energy is just, a lot of, focusing on your kids, things going on with kids, and children. All right. In a very literal sense. Now, the second energy, the spiritual energy, because remember, we're talking about two different, I'm going to be explaining this from two different perspectives. I'm going to be explaining the exoteric the interpretation of this energy, again, which is the outer world. And I'm going to be explaining the esoteric, the inner, the spiritual interpretation of this energy. So we're going to look at both sides of the coin in this reading. So the exoteric is very literal, just having to do anything having to do with children, right? Now the esoteric is what's really standing out here on this energy, which is our inner child. So there's a lot of people. This energy, as we move into August and through the Lionsgate Portal, are going to be affected. There's a lot of inner healing that needs to be done. Healing inner like childhood wounds, or doing inner child work. All right. So that's what that theme is. Now we have the not now energy here, and then I just realized we have the sub theme here. And so anything else I'm missing because I didn't see? We have letting go. Is letting go underneath here? No. Okay. So we have not now here, and it's matching here. So the sub energy, the sub theme energy. I just wanted to look under there real quick. The sub theme energy from this deck, which is the activation energy, which is tied to the activation energy that I talked about in this row, is showing up here. So it's just what to expect and what we need to activate. Those two energies are harmonized and they're aligning. So this is a major theme because we have two of the same cards that actually came out. And this is the major theme because we had two cards come out here as well. So really the major theme of August is going to be basically knowing, and this is the exoteric and the esoteric interpretations for both of these cards, the not now and the divine feminine. The not now energy is us needing to know what to prioritize in our life, what's important, and what's not. Like there's certain things that we get distracted with. There's certain things that we're spending our time and energy on, which are the two most valuable resources we have, and we need to stop. Some of us, we need to take a break from social media. Some of us need to, we need to stop overworking. Some of us, we need to stop overeating. Some of us, we need to cut back on, other things that aren't good for us. There's things that we're all doing right now that we need to stop doing. That's what this essentially is saying. Just a very little literal message. What actually needs your attention? What actually needs your focus? What's going to move the needle in your life? Many of you already know what these things are. You don't need tarot cards to tell you. You know what needs to stop. And you just, either we procrastinate, we've been putting it off, or we'll say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later, I'll do it next week, time keeps going on. For some people, it could just be things like, health. Like maybe you need, we need to stop in almost kind of like a paradoxical sense, like we need to stop being so lazy. Like, so the not now is just a metaphor for saying, hey, maybe it's time to actually, instead of not doing something, it's telling you it's time to do something. Like it's saying, hey, instead of putting off going to the gym, putting off, that doctor's appointment, putting off that dentist appointment, putting off, paying off that debt, or focusing on that debt that you have that's been causing you financial hardship, or procrastinating in regards to some area of your life, it's saying it's time to stop doing that. So it's going to be one of two things, and many of you already know what this is. You know what this thing is that needs to stop. For some of you, it's ending a toxic relationship. It's saying no to temptation. It's saying no to people from your past who come back, because we're in retrograde and people are going to come back and you're going to be tempted. You're going to be tested. It's saying no, listening to the divine, trusting your intuition, and knowing what to say no to and knowing what to say yes to. That's really what this energy is all about. And then the third card is we have paradigms. Paradigms is all about your beliefs. The things that affect and influence our beliefs, because our beliefs shape our reality. And your life cannot outgrow your beliefs. Your beliefs dictate your life. If you believe you're not good enough, you're a loser, you believe you never get love, you believe that you're ugly, you believe that you're unlovable, you believe that you'll never get out of debt, you'll always be broke. If you believe, whatever your belief is, life is going to continue to give you what you believe. You're not going to get anything much better. Maybe every once in a while you'll get a little something that's better than your belief system, and that's just the divine, throwing you a life raft, trying to coerce you and convince you to come out of that belief and into something better. So it's up to us to grab hold of those moments when the divine throws us a life raft and tries to, convince us, hey, here's a taste of something you could have if you would change your belief. Here's a taste. Here's a taste of something better than you think that you deserve, or something better than you think that you can have. So the divine throws us a life raft. And so we either grab that life raft and we start to change our beliefs, or we don't. So the point here with the paradigms is, again, going through August and going through the Lionsgate portal, things are going to begin to happen that are going to challenge your beliefs. Things are going to be happening that are asking you to say no to beliefs that you've been carrying that have been disempowering you with the not now, and learning how to basically take control of your beliefs, take control of your mind and your overthinking, the stories you tell yourself, the negative talk, the disempowering language, all those things, saying no to those things, and even things as far back as your childhood. Beliefs that were given to you that you carry that are so old that they go all the way back to when you were a child. Ancient beliefs, childhood beliefs, super, super old beliefs that are way, 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 deeply rooted in your unconscious, that are driving your life in a direction that you don't want your life to go. And no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try to change your external life and your reality by trying to just use your logical brain, the logical mind is not more powerful than your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is what controls you. It controls your habits, it controls your patterns, it controls your beliefs, it controls your identity. Everything is controlled by your subconscious mind. That's where your beliefs are. So it's very important to utilize this energy in August to really start focusing on your beliefs. At the very least, become aware. Start identifying what the beliefs even are. A lot of people, they're just floating through life unconsciously floating through life, and they don't even know the disempowering beliefs that they have that are keeping them stuck, that are keeping life the same. And they're frustrated that they're not getting a different result out of life, and they don't know why, even though they're doing everything that they know to try. It's like, well, I've tried this and I tried that and I tried this and I tried that and nothing works. My life doesn't change. And they don't know why. But the reason why is because they're trying to fix the problem from the wrong point of view. They're focused on the symptom, not the cause, is what I'm trying to say. The root issue, the cause, is the belief. And so the divine is saying, hey, in order to change your circumstances in August, there are beliefs that are going to have to be changed. Now, let's take a quick look at the sub-themes. We have the divine feminine, which has showed up here twice. We have illusions. Illusions are tied to the, it's tied to all of it, but the illusions are tied to, obviously, the corrupt, dysfunctional beliefs, the lies that we believe that are disempowering us, because that's what an illusion is. An illusion is something that's not real. Illusions that are tied to the not now energy, things in our life that we are choosing to partner with, things in our life that we're choosing to agree with, things in our life that we're choosing to participate in that are also not good for us. But we're doing it because we think that we should be doing it, or we think it's fulfilling, or we think it's going to or take us somewhere or lead us somewhere that it's actually not going to take us. It's false. It's an illusion. It's a mirage. Like when someone's walking out in the desert and they see a mirage out in the distance because they're so dehydrated, they start to hallucinate. That's really what this is. It's a hallucination of a false reality that's not leading us to where we think it's going to take us. It's not leading us in the direction of our highest good, and it never will. So the way out is ascension. And ascension is us getting the spiritual awareness to access our divinity and start to focus on our spirituality, meaning turning inward, listening to the divine, accessing our intuition, focusing on ourselves, focusing on our beliefs, focusing on our subconscious, focusing on our childhood wounds, focusing on purging out anything in our life energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally, maybe even spiritually, purging, a cleanse, an energetic cleanse, an entire energetic cleanse, an entire energetic purging of our energy, of anything that is not in alignment with what the divine has for us. And that's really what a spiritual awakening is. A spiritual awakening is just a moment of realization, a moment of awareness where we access divine knowing, divine understanding, divine knowledge, an aha moment, an epiphany, a revelation that leads to transformation. In other words, it leads to a better version of us than we were before. That's what ascension is, right? Like, we can use all these fancy woo-woo spiritual terms, and it sounds very ethereal. It sounds very mystical. And that's why it's not very useful. Because, okay, it's like ascension, or what does that mean? I have to go and sit in my room with my incense and my crystals and my spiritual tattoos and my pendulums and turn on my chanting music and just sit and stare at the wall or something. And then I'm going to have this out of body experience. It's like, no. And I'm not saying that people don't have that. I'm not saying that people don't experience Kundalini and all these other things, or profound, out of body experiences or whatever experience. I'm not saying that that's not real and that people don't experience it. I've experienced it, but I'm saying that's not the norm. And so when we have this idea or this projection, this mental definition, that's not really correct or accurate, we think we make the mistake of thinking that that's what it's supposed to be when it's not. Right? We overcomplicate these spiritual things because we think that everything is meant to be ethereal and mystical, when really it's a lot more practical than that. All ascension is a moment where we connect to our divinity And we have an aha moment, an epiphany, a revelation, hence the word awakening, because to awaken to something implies that we were asleep to it before. What do you do when you're asleep? You're asleep. You're unaware. You can't see. You're not awake. But when you are awake, you're consciously aware. You're aware of life. You're aware of everything that's going on. When you're asleep, you're asleep. You're not aware. If you're asleep and someone comes into your house, you're not going to know they're there because you're sleeping. You're not aware of anything that's going on. Things are happening all the time when we sleep in other parts of the world. Like last night, while I was sleeping in the United States, while most of us were sleeping in the United States, there was a major earthquake over in Russia. But over there, it was daytime. So they're having an experience during daylight. They're awake, moving, and they're having an earthquake. But over here on this side of the country, this side of the world, we're asleep. We have no clue that was happening until we wake up the next day and we check the news, we check social media, and then we see the headlines, right? So that's what an awakening is. It's just a moment where we become awake, and that awakening leads to a transformation. A lot of people have a moment or an opportunity to transform their lives, but they don't take it. They don't grab hold of it. In other words, they do have the aha moment. They do have the revelation. They do have the epiphany. They do have the moment of awareness where they're like, oh my gosh, there's a chance, there's an opportunity here for me to change something in my life. And if I do the work and if I take hold of it and I move on it, then it's going to change me. It's going to transform me. I'm going to go up to the next level, hence the staircase. See on this card way up at the top, this light, this star up here, this bright star represents the divine, spiritually speaking. And here we have this woman that just represents our spirit, our soul. And the staircase is leading like a stairway to heaven, so to speak. And each one of these steps represents a new level. We have transformed. We've changed. We've literally gone up to the next level, the next best version of ourselves, the next best version of our awakening, the next best version of our creativity, the next best version of our possibility, the next best version of what life can look like and become, right? All of that happens as we go, we grow and we go, we grow and we go, we grow and we go, we evolve, we ascend, we ascend, we ascend. That's why this card's called Ascension. That's what you're doing. You're moving up the ladder of your spirituality, right? So there's going to be an opportunity for that to happen. Now, on this side of it, and I know that these two are the sub themes of this down here, which has to do with what we need to do, but it's tied to the sub theme here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and explain it now. Is like letting go, which is tied to the not now. Now there's two energies here. One is letting go. Again, the not now, getting rid of things that no longer serve you. And if you're not sure what those things are, most of you will know at least 80% of what probably needs to change in your life. But if you don't know, then you ask. You can ask in your mind, you can ask out loud, you can pray, you can meditate, whatever you need to do. And you don't even have to do anything fancy, by the way. Like prayer and meditation, sometimes we overcomplicate those things. We think that prayer and meditation have to be some big fancy ordeal. It really doesn't. All you really have to do is have an intention and mean it. So you can say in your mind, you can say out loud, but you have to mean it. It has to be real. You can't be like, okay, show me what I need to know. It's like, okay, well, no, that doesn't count because you don't give a shit. You didn't mean it. You don't want it. You have to want it. You actually have to want it bad enough. And in the Bible, Jesus talked about this. He gave a metaphor. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be open to you. Now, what most people don't know is those words, ask, seek, and knock, are the repetitive forms of those words, meaning to continue, a continuation, to keep doing it, to keep doing it, to keep doing it. It's not a one-time thing. It's not ask one time and you'll get it. It's saying keep asking. Keep asking, keep asking, keep seeking, keep knocking until that's the actual translation. And that's what Jesus is talking about. Like when you need to know something from the divine, you need guidance, you need knowledge, you need a synchronicity, you need help from assistance from the divine. Even if you're like, but I'm not gifted, or I'm not psychic, I'm not spiritual. That's bullshit. That's not true. And sure, you may not channel dead people. You may not see the future. You may not get these deep, profound premonitions and messages that flow through you and channel and all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't mean that you're not spiritual. And it certainly doesn't mean that you won't get a message, that you won't get the answer. But you have to do the process the right way. Because if you half-ass it, it's not going to work. You have to mean it with all of your heart. You have to mean it and you have to want it. And then you just keep on asking until you get the answer. You just keep asking. Show me. What do I need to know? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to give up? What beliefs do I need to change? What needs to leave my life? What do I need to get rid of? What in my childhood is negatively affecting affecting me now and will continue to affect me in my future and prevent me from getting what I want unless I find out and know what that thing is within me or my unconscious, so I can fix it, I can heal it, and ascend and transform. That's what this is saying. Okay. You have to mean it though. The second energy to the letting go is what I call living with the open hand, which means it's an act of faith. It's learning how to trust the divine. That's all that means. And when we trust the divine, living with the open hand, that means that we're not clinging on to anything. We're not trying to control our lives. We live in faith. And faith is just a fancy spiritual word for trust. Spiritual trust, trusting in things we can't see and trusting in not knowing the outcomes, which means uncertainty. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the divine is going to do, but I'm asking for something. I know what I want. I know what desires I have in my life, what my dreams, my goals, my visions, my desires. And so I'm trying to do my part because we are co-creators with the divine. Nothing is just handed to us for free. We have to participate in creating. That's why it's called co-creating. But when we take responsibility for our part in the manifestation, which is the magician energy, then the divine shows up and the divine will always, always, always do its part. So let's say you're trying to manifest love. You live with the open hand, and then the divine comes and brings you that person. And then when we get the thing, whether it's a job, whether it's money, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a child, whatever the thing is that you want, what most the mistake that we make is once we get it, we become afraid of losing it. So then we want to hold on to it. We grab it and we hold on to it. It's like, no, it's mine now. I don't want to give it up. And it's that attachment to it. And 9 times out of 10, because we're holding on so tightly to the thing that we've been given, that's when we lose it. So the whole purpose of living with the open hand is I trust the divine to bring me what I need, and I trust in the divine to remove it if I outgrow it, if it no longer serves me, if it starts to negatively affect me, or anything negative that is no longer in my highest good. If this thing that the divine gave me at some point begins to affect my spiritual journey, if it begins to affect what's in my highest good, because not everything that the divine gives us is meant to stay in our lives forever, because some of the things that we're given at certain times in our lives are meant to get us up to the next step, right? So maybe this thing represents a job. And so I'm living with the open hand. It's like, okay, well, the divine opened a door and I got an amazing job. But that job help me get to that third step? Well, to get to the fourth step, that job, I don't need that job anymore, because maybe as I grow and I evolve, maybe I learn that I'm supposed to do something else. That job that the divine gave me was only for a season of my life. And maybe that season of my life was 5 years. Maybe it was 10 years. Maybe it was 1 year. Maybe it was 6 months. Doesn't matter the time. And so I'm like, hey, I'm realizing that I was given this job, but it's time for me to, as I've grown and as I've evolved, the divine wants to bring me something better. So I'm living with the open hand. So the divine, as long as I'm trusting the divine can take that job away because I don't need it anymore. And then the divine can bring me a new job or a business or whatever I'm supposed to do. And I live with the open hand there, because maybe it's supposed to be there for a long time. Maybe it's only supposed to be there for a short time. So this is something that the divine is highlighting for all of us. That's the second energy of this sub-theme. And again, these two cards are about the things that we need to do. These cards are all about the theme, the energy of what we need to know about coming up. These cards are the things that we actually need to do to get the result. This is saying what the result will be, or what we need to do to get the result. This is the actual action that we need to take to get the result. Okay, so that's that second energy there. So I didn't talk about the divine feminine up here, and I did that on purpose. I didn't forget this card, but I was waiting because when I get here, I'm gonna talk about this one here. So let's look at the major theme here. Karma. So karma, injustice, is cause and effect. Truth, clarity, justice, and cause and effect. So there's at least two energies attached to this. Some of us need to understand the consequences of our decisions and actions. Doing the same thing, or the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Some of us, the reason why our lives are not the way that we want it it's no more complicated and no more complex than understanding this one thing. You're doing things that are creating the reality and the life that you do not want. And it's literally that simple. You're literally just waking up and doing things that are creating a life that you don't want. And the simplest answer is not now, is to stop doing it. In other words, just stop doing the things that are causing you to create the life that you don't want, and start doing the things that will cause you to have the life that you do want. And it's literally that simple. There's no more spiritual messages. It's not more complicated. You don't need to go out and do anything. You don't need to buy anything necessarily. You just need to shift your lifestyle. Shift your habits, shift your lifestyle, and shift your behavior. New actions create new outcomes. New causes create new effects. It's literally that simple. Now, the second energy that's tied here has to do with understanding what's real, what's true, because justice is about truth. What's really true, because we have the illusions here. And some of you, and I'm just keeping it real on my channel because that's what I do. Some of you need to stop lying to yourself. Some of you need to stop gaslighting yourself. And I'll go as far as to say some of you need to stop lying to yourself and lying to others, because this is still karma. You'll get that karma. It'll come back on you. Some of you need to stop gaslighting yourself and gaslighting others, because that karma will come back on you. And some of you need to stop basically participating in in the illusions of your life. That's what this is saying. Just plain and simple. There's no more energies attached to it. That's just a very straightforward message. Second card, the things that we need to do, secrets. Secrets has to do with, there's two energies. Some of us, we're stuck because of lack of knowledge. Hidden, meaning there's things that we don't know. They're being kept secret from us, but we could know them if we would go seek them, which goes back to the analogy of what I said earlier over here. Ask, seek, knock. Now, there was the esoteric analogy of doing the spiritual work, meaning asking the divine for answers and meaning it with all your heart. That's the spiritual. You're communicating with your spirit to get an answer. But there's the literal, the exoteric example, which is you actually have to go out and get information, whether you read a book, whether it's podcasts, whether it's using AI, whatever you do, it's actually you going out and getting the knowledge that you need, that you're missing to be able to move forward in your life. Because if you don't know what you don't know, then how are you going to change? How are you going to know what to change or how to change? So this secrets is like saying, hey, if there's information that you don't have, that you don't know, knowledge that you need to acquire, then you need to actually take action to go acquire that knowledge. Because again, these cards on here are the things that we need to do, the actions that we need to take to get the change in August. That's what this is saying. Now, the second thing is saying that is tied to the illusions. What lies? What lies are you believing? Who around you has kept secret? Who around you is lying to you, keeping things, withholding things, right? And that's causing you to believe things that aren't true because it's a lie. And then actually there's a third energy. I thought there was two, there's three. The third energy here is there are some things that you need to keep to yourself. Not everybody needs to know your business, and not everybody needs to know other people's business that you know about them, which would mean gossiping, right? This is saying, hey, the divine is asking you, a lot of you, to keep your mouth shut about some things. It could be about an idea, could be about your, things that you're planning, could be about things that you're working on within yourself. Or it could just mean, hey, some of you just need to stop talking behind people's backs, stop gossiping, and stop involving yourself in drama. All right? Now, the Divine Feminine card in reverse, which is one of the major themes, because it came out twice. The Divine Feminine in reverse is a disconnection from our emotions, which means disconnection from our heart chakra, which means disconnection from spirit. Because the divine feminine energy is the spiritual side because it's connected to the heart, where masculine is connected to the thought, the mind. So a lot of people are disconnected from their emotions. You're not feeling your emotions, you're numbing your emotions, you're not experiencing your emotions. You're overthinking, you're in your head, you're not in your heart, and you're not letting yourself feel. And that could be, again, because of all these things, your beliefs, childhood trauma, all kinds of things that we've already talked about in this reading. You need to get connected to your heart. You need to get connected to your spirit. And we need that. We need this healthy, divine, feminine energy. That's why it's up right here. It's highlighted in the sub-theme because it's saying, hey, you need, in order to heal, you need to feel. You have to feel to heal. And the more that you get in tune with your heart is the more clear that the channel through which the divine speaks to you, called our intuition, our dreams, and all the different ways, synchronicities, the clearer and louder that our intuition comes through. We clear the channel, the line of communication with the divine when we open our heart chakra and we allow ourselves to feel and to get connected to our heart center. So that's why this is here. Okay. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to take a look. I'm going to pull 3 cards, and I'm going to take a quick look at love and romance, and then I'm going to use my other deck over here to take a quick look at business and finances. All right, just so we get just to see for those of you that do the work. Okay, again, this is all contingent, all based off of whether you listen to what I say. And if you just listen to this reading and you click off and you just go back to living your life the same way that you were living it before, then none of this stuff is going to affect you. I mean, like this part of it, it's probably not going to happen for you. So what I'm about to pull on is based on, okay, if I do what Eddie said, not what I said, but if you do what the divine is saying here, if you follow the advice that the divine is giving us, then you can probably manifest this outcome. There's an 80-90% chance that you could manifest this. Okay. So love and relationships. What can the collective expect in regards to love and relationships for the month of August? All right. We have justice again, which is interesting because we have the karma card here. So, this is justice is great. This is Libra energy. This is somebody who is honest, they're faithful, they're balanced, they're truthful. And this is the divine sending us, gifting us something that is true, that is honest, that is genuine, that is loyal, that is faithful, that is fair, that is balanced. But we have to do, it's interesting, everything that I said, we have to take action, and if we take action, then we get the result. So it's interesting that this card in this deck has been here, and now we're getting the cause and effect, the result of the action that we take, because that's what this card stands for as well, cause and effect. You take a cause, you take action, you get a result. So when we take the action, we get the result. And it's in the same energy. It's in the same vibration, which is good. In other words, saying, because you're focused on what's in your highest good and you're doing everything the divine is telling us to do, it's going to manifest positive, balanced, loyal energy in return. So you're going to get somebody who's balanced, they're faithful, they're loyal, and they get their crap together. All right, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, this is somebody who is a hard worker. They're going to put the work and the effort in. This is somebody who wants to build, a healthy, honest, loyal relationship. This person isn't effing around, because the Eight of Pentacles is putting maximum effort in, willing to do the work, right? Willing to show up, willing to go the distance, willing to build something. And it's also a card of mastery, because that's what the effort is. The more that the guy on this card, every time this guy creates one of these pentacles, he gets better. Because repetition is the mother of skill. The more you do something, the better you get, right? If you're a musician and you practice, well, eventually you're going to be a badass. All right, so it actually gave us 4 cards. So look, you can't make this up. 10 of Pentacles, you're going to get everything. This is the everything card of the the minor arcana. You get everything. And you get the 10 of Cups because the 10 of Cups is implied in the 10 of Pentacles. So not only do you get the love of your life, but you also get all the other things. You get the future together, you get the house, if you want the kids. This is you getting everything. But so somebody who's loyal, they're faithful, they're honest, they're hardworking, they're putting in maximum effort, and they're willing to build and they're willing to grow, and you can build into a life together. a potentially a forever person. And then we have the Eight of Cups, which is the end of unfulfillment. It's the end of unfulfillment. You're done. You've walked away from the past. The time of dissatisfaction is over. The time of bad relationships is over. The time of, having to go through disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, failed relationships, toxic relationships, all of that, it's over. You've walked away from it. You've moved on. It's done. You found your 10 of Pentacles. And look, the Ace of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. And that's the divine. This is the divine backing up everything I'm saying by saying, I'm going to give this to you. It's a gift from the divine. Here's the treasure. Here's the present, the gift from the divine. The divine is going to gift this to you if you do what the divine says. All right? So that's let me do this because I'm OCD. I'll put this one here and I'll set that one there. All right, so let me get 3 cards for career and finances. Career, business, finances, and maybe if you have a passion project or, some other type of, whatever your purpose is, so anything having to do with your purpose in life, your money, your career, your finances. What can we expect? All right. Short term. This position is temporary, so don't be too attached to it. No worries. You will find something that's even more fulfilling and prosperous. Now, what's crazy to me about that is I literally used that analogy early in the reading when I said live with the open hand. And I said sometimes, the divine gives us a job. And that job is only for us at this level. And I showed you guys that by using the analogy of the staircase, right? And so that's what's happening. The divine is saying, hey, I'm going to provide you guys that need it. I'm going to provide you with a short-term job, a short-term gig, a short-term, it's something that is intended to get you to the next step, but it's a doorway and a bridge to go even further. So by whatever the divine wants to bring you, that even though it's short term, it's actually a bridge and a gateway into something even better that you're supposed to do because it's going to be on your path. All right, that's the first card. Let me get the second one. All right. We have long term. Now this is interesting. So we have short term and now we have long term. I've never seen this happen before. And just really quick, I also want to point out these rings, like these wedding rings, okay? Because this is even though I'm talking business and money and career, this is also tied back over here to that. So it's a synchronicity. It's just the divine kind of just throwing you guys a little bit more, saying, hey, some of you guys could be finding the person you're going to marry in the month of August if you haven't already met them. All right. But let's read the card. An opportunity could turn into a long-term career move, or you will be asked to commit to a position in exchange for more money. So this could be a promotion, or this could be you just finding the thing that you're meant to do, and it's meant to be for a really long time. So we have it 2 ways. Let me get my big arm out of the way. We have short term for some of you, which is just a stepping stone. And for others of you, you're going to actually find the thing and start doing the thing that you're meant to do for a long time. So now the divine is like basically covering all bases. All right, one more card. All right, we have looking. It's okay to look for better work. Be discreet in your search. You need to be aligned with your life purpose to be fully satisfied. And so what the divine is saying with this card is, remember what I said? Ask, seek, knock, keep asking, keep seeking, keep knocking. Some of you guys have been sitting on ideas. You've been sitting on creative ideas. You've been sitting on, should I start my own business? Should I quit my job? Should I just go for it? Should I start doing this thing that I've always wanted to do, but maybe I haven't had the courage to do it because I don't know how? Whatever the situation for you is, the divine is saying, ask. Ask for that clarity. Ask for that clarity. And if you ask, you guys aren't going to believe this. I can't make this shit up. Look at what's at the bottom of the deck. Answers. Literally can't make this up. And so I said I was going to only pull 3, but look, the divine was going to show me up. The divine's like, no, I don't just give. I give it in abundance. I give even more than you ask. So this is what this card says. You will resolve your current situation soon. Work-wise, you will find unique ways to stand out. You find a new opening with job security. So this, again, is just confirmation of everything I said here with looking. You're looking for a job, or you're going to find one. If you keep looking, you keep searching, you keep connecting to the divine, you do what the divine says to do, down here that we've been talking about the whole reading, you're going to find it. The answer is going to come. The opportunity is going to come. If you've been wanting a promotion, if you've been wanting to make more money, that opportunity is going to come. That promotion is going to come. If you need ideas, information, downloads, signs, confirmations about starting your own thing, starting your own business, creating a product, anything like that, keep asking, and the divine will give you the answer. So, I think that's it. I think that I'm just checking in if there's anything else the divine, anything else that the divine wants to say before I close the reading. Yes. So just really quick, just really, really, really quick. Guys, remember, we are still in a universal 9 year. And I've talked about this on my channel since January. We're not out of the woods yet. And this is just a quick reminder to let you guys know that this year, for most people, it's going to go one extreme or the other. This is either going to be one of the best years of your life, or this is potentially going to be one of the worst years of your life. And it's all based on the decisions that you're making. It's all based on your spiritual awareness. It's all based on you, paying attention to what the divine is trying to do to steer you and direct you to go in the direction that would take you so that this year can be one of the best years of your life. But if you're not listening, if you're just hearing and you're not listening, because those are two different things. Like, we hear stuff all the time. You go out into public and you go to a place where there's people around, there's music in the background or people talking. We hear all kinds of noises all the time, but it doesn't mean that we're tuned in. It doesn't mean that we're paying attention to all of it. We're not listening specifically to the things that we need to listen to. Hearing and listening are two different things. If you're listening and then you do what the divine suggests, then your life could take the turn for the better this year. Okay? So again, this is just a general reminder. If your life this year so far, if your life seems like it's just getting worse and worse and worse, and things just keep happening, or things are just not improving at all, that's why. That's why. And it's not going to change. It's going to keep getting worse because that's the energy that we're all in. It's a 9 universal year. And if you're confused about that, I have those videos on my channel where I talk about it. There should be 3 videos now. If you go back towards January, you'll see 2 videos called The Universal Year 9, Part 1 and Part 2. I explain what this whole year is about and what to expect. Back at, I think, in May or June, I did an update for the next 6 months. And then you can see, and all three of those videos still apply. So even though they're older videos, they still apply. So I highly recommend going to watch those if you're confused about what to do. There could be some additional information, some insights, things that might be helpful for you if you find yourself in that place in your life where things are just not going very well. Okay, so that's kind of the last message. Also, just want to say, click the bell notification icon. Obviously, please like and subscribe to the channel if you found this information useful. Hit the bell notification icon too, because if I go live, you can come join me for a free live tarot reading. And, if you first come, first serve, but if you show up, there's a really good chance that I can, you'll make the list and I can answer your questions for you, and you can get even more divine insights that are specific and personal to you and your life and your situation. So that's what I have. And I will see you guys soon. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. All the other information is in the description box below. And as always, my friends,
I'm not a bloody psychic.